Hello everyone, welcome back. Today in the workshop we've got our broom style corkbark elm. It's done what it's done every year, which is explode with growth. So again, this year is no different. We've got to go back in here and cut everything way back, and it's going to want to bust out again, and we'll have to keep cutting it way back, and we're getting finer and finer traceries of twigs as we go. So it's doing exactly what I expected it to do. So let's go ahead and get started. Again, like I just mentioned, we're just going to have to go back in through here and get everything cut back. We're going to have a lot to eliminate as far as excess branching, but I'm just going to go back in here and cut everything back to just a couple sets. Got some of these little fine branches down in here that are dead, and how you can tell they're dead is they're dark brown. Again, on this Chinese elm, you've got to look at, like we've discussed in the past, where the next growing bud is, because that's the direction that the branch is going to be headed in. So we want to make sure that they're all headed in the right direction. Hope you can start to see the structure that we've developed here over the past few years with the selective pruning we've been doing. These are all dead. And now we're pretty much at what's considered the clip and grow method, where we're not really having to wire anything in position anymore. We're just going to trim it back to the direction we want it to go, and it'll develop well on its own. And most of these dead ones here that I'm cutting off actually were alive at one point in time this growing season, but got shaded out, and when they get shaded out, of course, there's no light to be given to them to grow. So as a consequence, they perish. Another thing we have to remember as we're doing this is it's wider at the bottom and narrower at the top, so when I'm trimming this I've got to keep that in mind to keep everything in balance. Alright, just goes to show, with a little planning ahead of time, it's a lot easier to finish up afterward later. Didn't take very long to do. I'm going to need to mix some more bonsai soil up this season, and I'm going to try to get this one repotted into a pre-bonsai pot before it branches out, or before the buds start to swell. The buds are still dormant now, so we're still okay for a couple weeks. I think either tomorrow or early next week, during the week, I'm going to go ahead and mix up enough bonsai soil to go ahead and put this one in a bonsai pot as well. Seeing as how now, again, with this tree, we're going to be focusing on ramification more than we are growth. So, something that's interesting as well about Chinese elms is they have a tendency to put out, I don't necessarily want to call them water shoots, but for lack of a better term, they're called water shoots or water sprouts. And what those are is, well, on most trees, they come up right at the base of the tree. You'll see a little come up here, like a little stem that comes up off the base of the tree. This one, about 4 inches away, put out one. Sucker is another name for them. Out here, but I think what I'm going to try to do is possibly keep it, because it is a Chinese elm. There may be more than one here, and propagate this by what's known as root cutting. And I'm going to go ahead and try to cut this root off and maybe stick it in a smaller pot. And I may have a small Chinese elm mame bonsai off of this tree, which would be kind of cool. Not that I need one, but it's there, so why the heck not? So I think we've got this one whooped for this year. Again, not a lot of fertilizer again this year, because we don't want a bunch of growth, we want some ramification. So we're going to ease back on the fertilizer, just like the other one that we did earlier. A couple more things here, just minor adjustments to be made. Make sure everything's going the direction we want it to go. If we can bring them in tighter, we will. Because the tighter that it is, the better it's going to look in the long run. Okay. Just saw a few areas for improvement. Let me go ahead and zoom in a little bit so you can see a little bit better. Really liking the way this turned out. You know, this one and the Trident Maple that I have out there are one of the first few videos I shot. I believe it's almost 4 years ago now. It's hard to believe. But I just want to reiterate that, you know, just spending a little bit of time, even 4 years really isn't that much in the whole scheme of things. To get something to this level, I guess you could say, or this caliber, is why we do bonsai. This is what we strive for. This is what we look for in a tree. This is why I do this. It's an art form. It's a hobby. It's a passion. It's a great thing, and I hope all of you get something from my videos and that you're able to create great trees like this as well. So I appreciate you watching. I appreciate your comments, and keep them coming. Any questions you may have, feel free. I'll answer them as quick as I can. And I just want to thank you for watching, and have a good one.